Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. I've got 3 requests today that I'm going to try to tackle in 30 minutes. See if I can get through it all. The first thing is show a project with this die right here, which is part of our product of the month. It's $5 with a $75 order while supplies last. And then I had a request for this guy. This is the new Impressions plate. Is it really a plate? I mean, most plates don't do that, but they're calling it the Impressions plate. It goes in the machine to emboss and make things extra puffy. So I'm going to show you how to use that and what I've found. Do we really need it? And does it work with all the other dies, not just the Impressions dies, which was the third thing that I have to show you. These 2 are in the new catalog that will launch May 5th. These are called Impressions dies. These are phrases and frames. There's some sentiments if you want to do a whole bundle, but I love frames, so I got these right away. And do they work without this pad? So I'm going to show you some things that I tried. Let me show you these dies first. So when you see them in the catalog and there's like a big square like that, that means it cuts out the center. They're like the little guys cut out. So for instance, here is this one, and it cuts out that center. This little guy does not cut out the center, but it's a little scalloped oval. This frame cuts out that. And this big frame cuts out this piece also, which they're very handy because then you can cut this out in one color and maybe this would be white and you can add it for a sentiment or something. I like options. Now these will emboss a little bit on their own without the embossing mat. And I'll show you because someone said, do I have to buy the mat? No, you don't, but it's just a little less puffy, I'm thinking if I hold them up like this, you might be able to tell. Okay, this one right here has little teeny, oh, there you go. You can kind of catch the light just right. It's flat, but you can tell there's still something there. This one is very puffy. You see the difference? So maybe even showing you on this one, and I think you can tell here, this one is just cut with the machine, regular, like we normally do. This one is with the embossing plate. So yeah, you can tell the difference a little bit. And I knew you were gonna ask about these ovals. So I brought out some old retired ovals. The wide oval does not fit this one. However, the retired Stampin' Up scallop punch, look at this, that fits in there nicely. So you could do that. And then also the retired Stampin' Up scallop punch fits this little oval quite nicely if you still like 2 scallops together. Or the one that comes inside there, look, they layer. Okay, so it's nice you can still use some of the retired punches to line up with some of these little ovals. All right, one more example. Let's see if I can hold it up close. The one on the left is just die cut and a little bit of scoring on it, and the one on the right uses the Impressions plate. Now I'm going to show you how it works, and then I'll show you some other things that will work also. All right, I've got my machine. If you have a big shot, this is gonna work. If you have a different kind of machine, you're gonna have to play with the layers, but it will work. I found the directions to be kind of confusing, to be honest, on the package. The plate is $11, by the way. I found it a little complicated. There is a video, if you get your catalog on page 36, there's a QR code, and I'll link to that video as long as it's active for everybody. So I just thought this was the best way to do it. So these are meant to be cut first and then embossed second. So when we're gonna cut, we're gonna put our platform in. So there's number 1 right there. And then you're gonna do number 2, just so this is how we normally die cut. And then your plate, your clear plate, and then the paper, and then the die, and we're gonna cut it. Now this one is big. It is just about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so I'm using a little bit bigger piece of paper just so you can kind of see better. it just barely fits a regular size card. All right, and then your number 3. Okay, so just like you always do, we're gonna die cut first. Snaps and pops are normal. Okay, now, before you take this off the paper, leave it in there, okay? Save that, get rid of this, keep the 1 and 2 on, and now you're gonna put this up. So see that's still in there? Leave it in there. If it falls out, then realign it back in, okay? It goes directly on the number 2, and then here is the plate, the big thick rubbery thing they're calling a plate. It's not numbered either. That would have been nice to have it numbered. And then you want to do your number 4. Now, if you don't have a number 4 on your plate, I'm going to show you what you can do instead. All right, this is for the people that already have this machine. And you can buy this number 4 separately, you know, with me, with the Stampin' Up store. And it works with all of our extra thick embossing folders. So a lot of people have this one. All right, so here we go. Now, let me see if I can back it up so you can see. I am rolling easily. This should not be hard to do, okay? If you are struggling to get it through, you've got something in there that doesn't belong there. All right, so we take this off, take off the rubber gasket thingy, and then that is, can you see it? Yeah, let me see, there it is. Now you can see the puffy frame. Let me show you some workarounds. If you don't have this machine and you have the old Big Shot, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna work the same. Even if you go way back and you have this one with the hinge, they made them later where these were separate, but if you have this one, watch, it's gonna work exactly the same. You're gonna put everything through like that, and you're gonna cut it just like you did before. So, you know, you put your 2 plates on, your 2 clear plates, and you cut your die. And keeping it on here, put it right back where it belongs. Let's see here. And so you've already cut it. I'm also gonna show you how this works with other dies. So these are impressions dies, they're made to do this, but can we use them with regular dies? Yes. And then you're gonna use this guy. And then this, if you have this old jewel tone blue one, it's exactly the same as the 4. Exactly. So if you've been around a while and you have this one that was from, with Big Shot, it's gonna work exactly the same. Remember, you're gonna roll it through. Should not be hard at all. Sorry for the glare. Works exactly the same. Now let's say that you don't want to get the impressions plate. Can you use the silicone pad? Yes, I'm gonna show you how. As a little workaround. And then I found these, I mean, back in all my stuff from ages ago, the Big Shot embossing mats. If you don't throw anything away, like I don't, you probably have these. And there's a gray one, and then there's a little thin blue one. Those 2 equal this new mat. So I did exactly the same thing and tried everything out ahead of time. So you got your number, you got your number 1, you got your number 2, you put your die up. And if you want to put a piece of paper under there to protect this, you can, but we're not cutting down on it. We're putting the cut side up, and then your paper, and then these 2 from the old Big Shot, and then your number 4 or the Big Shot blue plate. And it works exactly the same in whatever machine you have there. Now, I did not cut this one first, just to show you what it looks like embossed. The problem with this is it does slide around a lot, and I even taped some down to see if I could get it exactly right and, you know, just have an embossed frame. And no matter what I did, boy, that rubber mat in there really makes it slippery. So they still shift a little bit. So can you use your silicone pad to do the embossing with dies? Yes, we've been doing it for years. And it just takes a little bit of a shim. And these are 6x6. They're not quite as long for some things. For $11, I think this is probably worth it if you don't have those other ones that I just showed you. But if you want to do it with a silicone pad, it's the same 1 and 2, and then the die, the impressions die, or any die, upside down, okay? And then your silicone pad, but then you need to shim it just a little bit. I put in 2 pieces of cardstock, and then my number 4 and run it through, and it works. Now, if you've got something longer, that might be a little tricky. And you do have to kind of play around. Every machine, I always say, is like a size 12 pair of pants. Like some are tighter, some are looser. I don't feel, none of them are the same. So you might need 1 shim, you might need 3. I don't know. You have to just play with your machine. But that's the sandwich. Now here's some things I tried with regular dies, like a letter. I ran it through once, I ran it through with the impression thing, and I can't tell a difference. I mean, maybe a little bit. That was kind of a fail for me. Same thing with this one. I ran it through, and I mean, I can't tell the difference between this. You have to have the right kind of opening, circles that have a layer or an opening on in the inside, which is why I thought this would do better, but it didn't. I tried it with this one, the friendly foliage, and I mean, I can feel it. It's definitely more puffy. So I cut this one out, and then I ran this through again with the mat, and it's puffy, it's raised, it's nice. And this one right here, I cut out just the outside and then ran this part through with the impressions mat, and you can tell, I hope you can tell. See how it's really raised up? It might be a lot of extra work just for a little bit of the puffy. The frames work the best. Then I tried this one. This is that really big die. That's $5 with a $75 order. And so when you cut this one, it looks like this. So it's got all these little dots that fall out, and it's very intricate looking. And then if you just want to emboss it, so again, the cutting side up, just like with the same sandwich, paper on top, and then the squishy mat, and then the number 4, exactly the same to make it emboss, and then it looks like this. This reminds me of a quilt. Can you see that? Yeah, it's pretty. So it's nice. It's like an embossing folder. Okay, so it is a way to make all of your dies like an embossing folder. You can lay out circles and things and squares and shapes, flowers, and run them through, and it looks like an embossed background. This is the other impressions dies that's in the new catalog. It's like a really big, almost like a Hawaiian flower. So you can see all the different texture on it. So you cut it and then you emboss it. Now, let me show you a quick project with this one. I started out with this one with the blush. I wanted to add it with the cantaloupe, but it just kind of clashed to me a little bit. I actually like the petal pink better with the cantaloupe. So I put them together on this card here. So I ran the die through, and I wanted to see some of that white behind it. Can you see that? There, maybe a little bit. I wish you were sitting here right next to me so you could see it. And then the new ephemera that's coming out in the catalog is nice and thick. It's not the ephemera that we've had before that's paper thin. This is really thick, and it has adhesive behind it. So I picked these colors, and I'm going to use this cantaloupe ribbon. Add just a little bit of this back behind it, just a simple card. Put a little bit of ribbon here, and I wish you could see them. These are really, really nice. I really love that they're doing the adhesive on them and that they're sturdy. I'm going to stick that here. You can still put dimensionals behind it if you want to. And then we'll just add a couple of these pretty new embellishments, which come in the new in colors. Now, I know this is blush on the sentiment, but I think it still works. And just add a few of those. It's a pretty die for $5, that's for sure. I mean, it's really big. You know, the size of a card front, even a little bit bigger. But I think you should add these to your order on May 5th. You know, I don't usually say things like that unless I really love them, and I really love these. Nice, big, great sentiments. Can you see those? Got happy birthday. I mean, look at, you get 2 of each of them. Look at all these. Hey there, friend, thinking of you, sympathy. Aren't they great? Like I said, nice and thick. The adhesive is already on them. This one is called Sincerely Noted. And then they have some that are labels. And I don't know if this is a mistake or not, but 2 of my sheets are regular paper and then all the rest are adhesive backed and thick. So I need to call them and see if that's a mistake. But all these labels are really fun. If you don't have punches or dies and you just want to grab one of these, I think these are really nice. And even these that have all the birthdays, again, still the adhesive. They got all these really great designs in there for everyday occasions. Now they do work on, like I said, regular dies pretty well. Like this one is a die that's coming out in the new catalog. And I think it looks better this way, but you could run it through and emboss it and have it look like this. I think personally this looks better. You can put the sunset behind it and different things, but there might be dies that you have that will be really nice for a background or something a little more subtle, but it works the same way. Oh, I almost forgot one more thing. So I was playing around with this one and how to add color around the edges. I did try just experimenting around. I took my ink pad and went all around the die and ran it through. This one was with green and you can barely see it. That was a flop. That barely did anything. However, this one looks a little more pretty. So let me show you what that looks like and how I did it. After you cut it, emboss it, and anything you're gonna do with it, leave it in the die. Get a little brush or a sponge dauber. These magnetic pads pick up the dies all the time. And then just ink through it like this. And you'll kind of get this nice raised area that's a little bit darker. I think that's going to be kind of fun to play around with. And it just sort of highlights it a little bit. You can see right here I did a really dark color on the white and I did the green. And it's nice if you miss a little bit, you can just take your blends or your markers or whatever and just sort of fill in what you missed. Sort of nice that everything sort of matches. So my recommendation is, if you're okay with them being a little flat and you don't want to make them puffy with this thing, then go for it. They still cut, they're still nice. You can still see a little bit of the etching in there, but for an extra $11, if you don't have the other things I showed you from way back, then for $11, I'd say get it. Get this, because we can use it with other dies too, and just play around and see what other frames you might have. I was thinking about the Eden dies that we had a while back. We've had some really pretty ornate frames. I think it'd be fun to try it with some of those, especially for the holidays. All right, we'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.